job offer a couple weeks before the start date.
Good evening, and welcome to True Crime with the Bad Girl, the Playa, and the Stars. I am Benny Scala, your One and Only Playa. Oh, hang on for a second. I got an echo here.
I can hear it.
Sorry about that, folks. That was me. I had my YouTube still on. My bad. So, with me as always is my partner, True Crime. She is a New England Professional Wrestling Hall of Famer. She is Archie's mom, and she is my favorite wrestling DJ. I can only be talking about the very bad co-host, the one and only Boston Bad Girl, Brittany Brown. Brittany, how are you?
I am doing well, thank you. However, I do wish it was Friday. How are you?
Yeah, I see. Well, I have to say, like, when you're like semi-retired, I actually all day last Friday, I thought it was Saturday, and I posted something and I said tomorrow, which I really meant was Sunday, but I completely forgot. You know, when you're retired, you kind of forget what day it is. But no, yeah, for me, every day is Friday.
Oh well, I wouldn't know. You don't have to rub it in.
You'll get there. You don't want to be in a hurry to get there, but once you get there,
definitely not.
Yeah, definitely don't want to be in a hurry. So next is our Rookie of the Year, Tiffany Starr. Tiffany told someone in the chat to go to bed last week, and he has not been seen since. Guess he took her seriously. But Tiffany, is this a heel turn in the making?
I think so. It's a lot more fun to be a heel, I think.
I mean, and you were pretty good at it. I got to tell you.
I am.
Yeah. I was very impressed. And look who's back, folks. Fresh off a successful run in Parts Unknown. One half of the Deplorables. Dangerous Dave Starr. Dave, welcome back.
Thank you so much. It's great to be back. And for all the people that don't know what the Deplorables are, that's me and the Playa now. We're known as the tag team, Deplorable 1, Deplorable 2. And tonight we got a real scumbag douchebag piece of shit on tap tonight for everyone out there. And as I always pledge to do to all our podcast listeners, I pledge to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me.
Amen. All right, folks, we're going to do pay a little bills first and then on to the show. True Crime with the Bad Girl, the Playa, and the Stars is brought to you by the Burbrower Law Firm. Folks, if you've been injured in a car accident, please reach out to our good friend Adam Burbrower at the Burbrower Law Firm. Adam and his crew do things the right way with great results. Not only is Adam a great attorney, but the dude has framed pictures of Ernie the Cat Lad, the unpredictable Johnny Rods, and our very own Boston Bad Girl in his office. How cool is that? If you see Adam at the community pool trying to nail that elusive triple Lindy, you'll notice superstar Billy Graham tattooed on his back and Bret the Hitman Hart tattooed on his chest. This guy is not only the man of the hour, the man with the legal power, too sweet to be sour. He is also the excellence of elocution. Besides being a great guy, Adam is a true crime aficionado and an avid WWF historian. Who else can get you a great settlement while breaking down Mario Mancini's greatest matches? Well, that one's a quickie. Check out Adam at burbrowerlaw.com and follow him on Facebook. And don't forget to tell him that the Bad Girl, the Playa, and the Stars sent you. So last week we covered Jared Fogle, the subway guy. And I don't know about you guys, but every time we cover one of these pieces of shit, I think to myself, that's about as bad as it gets. But then we find someone who eclipses last week's subject, which brings me to this week's piece of shit. There she is, Diane Downs. So the Bad Girl and Tiffany are going to give you the facts, ma'am. Nothing but the facts.
That's right. Pretty sad facts. But Diane Frederickson was born on August 7th, 1955 in Phoenix, Arizona. She came from a family with strict conservative values, and her parents forbade her to wear fashionable clothes or makeup, which made her the subject of frequent bullying. Don't you love when that's an excuse?
Yeah. Maybe because she was a piece of shit. Maybe that's why she was bullied.
She wasn't too good to look at either. I'm just saying.
No, I mean, I'm with you on that.
She's
No,
a
she looks like when she gets a pair of new shoes, she's got to go to the blacksmith.
That's a good one. So after this poor thing went to high school, she enrolled at Pacific Coast Baptist Bible College, no less, in Orange, California, but was expelled after 1 year for promiscuous behavior. How shocking. And returned to her parents' home in Arizona. I'm sure they were very happy.
Well, that sounds like Dave's kind of girl to me. What do you think?
Well, I mean,
Kicked out of Bible college for being a slut. Dave's all over that, right?
well, I mean, the thing is, I wouldn't kick her out of bed for eating crackers, but, you know, she's not up to my standards as far as from the neck up. She kind of looked like the stray dog I seen on the way home today, you know?
She looks like kind of like my friend Flicka. You remember my friend Flicka?
I know.
Yep.
Brittany does.
Yep.
Yeah,
I
Flicka
know
was
it's a
Flicka
horse.
was a
That's
horse.
all I know.
When you asked Diane how old she was, she would stomp her feet.
Oh, it's a
Yep.
horse. Okay, got it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like Mr. Ed.
Okay.
Right.
Mr. Ed, but just slightly smaller teeth.
A
So,
little bit.
On November 13th, 1973, Diane married Steve Downs, who recently enlisted in the U.S. Navy after running away from home. I did not marry Steve for love, she later said at her trial. I married Steve to get out of the family.
You know,
There's a brain surgeon for you.
But she actually is telling the truth, because this woman is incapable of loving anybody or anything. So she kind of was really honest about that.
Yeah, it's probably the only time she told the truth.
Right.
Great woman to meet in the bar room.
So their first child, Christy Ann, was born in 1974. Cheryl then followed in 1976. She ended, for some reason, her next pregnancy with an abortion. But after witnessing pictures of fetuses at anti-abortion booths in a local fair, I didn't know that existed, she regretted her decision. I felt the need to do something to make amends for what I had done wrong, she testified. When I had the abortion, I was led to believe that a 6-week fetus is nothing more than mucus. God. Diane later testified that Steve had had a vasectomy, so she seduced a male friend, Mark Sager, who became the father of her third child, Stephen Daniel, who was born in 1979.
Slut. Sorry. And there's the happy family.
Oh, Jesus.
And that guy's smiling while she holds a brand new baby from another guy on her lap.
Right.
And that guy's got a shit-eating grin on his face.
Right.
Dysfunctional. So Diane and shit-eating Steve regularly fought over financial issues and alleged infidelities, which resulted in their divorce in 1980, when it was discovered that Daniel was the result of an extramarital affair by Diane. On May 8th, 1982, Diane gave birth to a girl named Jennifer while acting as a surrogate mother, despite failing her psychiatric tests twice due to their indicating signs of psychosis.
Psycho slut. Dave, she's getting better and better.
Boy, I'll tell you, I'd take this girl to Burger King. That's
She's in love with her, right? Yeah. I mean, my understanding is when you do something like that, because I think she got like 10 grand back in, whatever, 35 years ago, which was a sizable sum of money back then. But I thought they really vetted the shit out of you. You had to go through a battery of tests, both physical and psychological, and this girl had to fail miserably. And yet,
I'd ask her if she wants. I'd ask her if she wants a French fry a large French fry. I'd buy her a large French fry. Supersize it.
What a nice guy you are. I think supersizing is McDonald's though, not Burger King.
Well, I'm thinking Dave would probably take her on the buy one, get one day.
I think he would take her anywhere to do anything.
Yeah.
Or you can take her to Subway and give her a
Diane
$5 foot long, right?
No, I don't have to take her to Subway for a foot long.
Diane was employed by the United States Postal Service, assigned to mail routes in the city of Cottage Grove, Oregon. According to Steve, she treated her children like crap, quote unquote, and lacked any maternal instincts. He later elaborated, Diane forbade everything to her children. If Danny demanded a little attention, she rejected him. But the worst was one day I caught Cheryl jumping on her bed. I told her that was not allowed. I made her sit down and think about what she had done. Cheryl remained calm while looking up and asked, "Is there a gun here?" I replied that no. And the reason for this question, to which she told me, I want to kill me. My mom says I'm bad.
How sad is that? When
so
you got a young kid saying something like that? I mean, what self-worth do they have?
I feel like she has to be saying and doing more than telling her kids that they're bad for them to say something like that. Like, that's a little extreme.
Well, I'm thinking she would have threatened to kill him, right? Because that why else would the girl ask for the gun?
That's possible.
That's exactly what I was just going to say. What do you bet she held the gun up to that girl and threatened to kill her more than once?
I don't doubt that happened.
Yeah.
Sick, sick, sick. So on May 19th, 1983, Diane shot her 3 children and drove them in a blood-spattered car to Mackenzie Williamette Hospital in Springfield, Oregon. Upon arrival, Danny, age 3, was paralyzed from the waist down. Christy, 8, had suffered a disabling stroke. And Cheryl Lynn Downs, 7, was dead. Diane herself had been shot in the left forearm, conveniently.
Right?
What a piece of shit. This lady sucks. I don't even understand how she's still alive.
I know. I'm surprised too.
I feel like that's like death penalty stuff right there.
Yeah, she's sick. Very sick.
I think Oregon is not a death penalty state. I don't think that.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah,
it's very unfortunate. It should be.
I mean, I'll say my same thing that I say all the time is that if you just imagine if it was, and you could stage this as a pay-per-view, and just the proceeds go to those poor kids, because everybody gets what they want. The kids, not that they get what they want, but at least they have some money to live on. And if anybody wants to see something like that, they'll pay for it. They get to see it. But yeah, I mean, this woman is wasting oxygen, in my opinion, for the last 40-something years.
Yeah, I totally agree. She's terrible. And she does nothing but lie. And she continued to lie when she claimed that she was carjacked on a rural road near Springfield by a strange man who shot her and the children. However, investigators and hospital workers became suspicious when they decided that her manner was much too calm for a person who had just experienced such a traumatic event. She also made a number of statements that both police and hospital workers considered highly inappropriate.
I heard she was joking around and cracking jokes and stuff like that.
Yeah, and she was laughing, and I don't know. I feel like if she was trying to pretend like something happened, she did a real shitty job at it.
That's what they were suspicious of her from the start because she wasn't too smart.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
And then, sorry, go ahead, Brittany.
Even the urgency on the way she, ran in the hospital was far from what a normal person would have done. I mean, a normal person would have been absolutely frantic, grabbing your children, bringing them in. I don't think she grabbed one of those children. I think she just ran in by herself and was kind of like, we've been shot. Yet there's a child dying in the car and possibly 2 more.
Yeah,
I
they
mean,
were saying that she was the only one who had anything like covering her shotgun wound. Like she didn't have anything on the kids, but she wrapped her arm, and that's what they found. They found that suspicious too.
Yeah. Oh, she's sick.
She's a human shark. She has zero emotion.
Yeah. Yeah. She definitely, I mean, imagine taking the time to wrap your own arm while you let your 3 children bleed.
Yeah, that's what they were
possibly.
saying. They thought it was weird. And then I think we'll get into it in a little bit, but she drove like super slow to the hospital too.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that too. Yes, absolutely. Like crawled there, literally.
Yeah.
Well, she claimed that on a drive home from a friend's house, she decided to take a scenic route home in the dark with 3 children. All her children were asleep, and Downs claimed that during this drive home at around 10 p.m., she saw a strange man standing in the road flagging her down, because what woman with 3 children wouldn't want to stop and help at 10 o'clock at night?
Literally.
She said she pulled over and got out to talk to the man. She described him as a bushy-haired stranger. He then immediately demanded that she give him her car keys. Downs claimed she refused, and they got into a physical altercation that resulted in his shooting her in the left arm. He then opened the driver's side door and shot all 3 of her children. Downs then said she pretended to throw her car keys in a bush, and the man went to go look for them. While he was looking for the keys, she jumped back in the car and sped off to the nearest hospital with apparently back then no keys.
Yeah, right. That is like the dumbest story I've ever heard for so many different reasons.
I was going to say the same
thing. You're a single mother. You're driving. You have 3 kids, 8 and under, that you need to get home late at night. And like, what the fuck? I'm just going to take the scenic route. No, you take the road. You know that you have the most chance of, God forbid, if something did happen, that somebody would see it. So you drive this isolated route, and then you see somebody. Oh, you know what? I'll see what this guy wants. Like, you know what? If that was me and the guy I just run the guy over. It's like, you got 3 seconds to get out of the way, or you're going to be roadkill. And then,
I would have done that easily.
And then she pretended that it's like when you throw a ball to a dog, that like when you fake them out, they like that for that 3 seconds, and they realize they've been faked out. I mean, I would think again, even if she tried that, the guy's gonna. If there was a guy, he'd say, you got 1.5 seconds to go get those keys, or I'm going to blow your head off. Yeah. It's just like the most ridiculous story.
It is.
It's absurd.
And the best part, what the best part is? When I was researching this, the best part is the forensic, the guy that did the forensic on the car. Because everybody thinks they're so friggin' smart. But when they did the forensic on the car with the blood splatter on the passenger door, and there was none on the driver's door, right then and there, they knew her story was not the right story. That was the best part about the whole story for me, is when that forensic guy caught her with this little blood spatter on the passenger door.
Yeah. She was dead to rights right from the get-go. The minute she got in that hospital, I think everybody there knew that she did it.
Yeah.
How could you not?
I have a fan of the show who texted me and said that she stopped because she was looking to have another kid with another stranger.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
She wanted a kid with bushy hair, so she met a bushy-haired stranger, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how an ugly girl like this got banged so much. I don't know how she did it. She's so ugly.
I know.
I mean, Dad, think about it. You probably would have. And if she came on to you, I'm just
but even
people are desperate.
I try to find one picture where she actually looks semi-attractive. I couldn't find it.
No, not gonna happen.
Suspicions heightened when Downs, upon arrival at the hospital to visit her children, phoned Robert Knickerbocker, what a nice name, a married man and former co-worker in Arizona with whom she had been having an affair. The forensic evidence also did not match her story, as there was no blood spatter on the driver's side of the car, nor was there any gunpowder residue on the driver's door or on the interior door panel. Knickerbocker also reported to police that Downs had stalked him and seemed willing to kill his wife if it meant that she could have him to herself. He stated that he was relieved that she had left for Oregon and that he was able to reconcile with his wife. Wow.
Talk about dodging a bullet, right? Literally.
Yeah.
No kidding. Literally.
Yeah. Diane did not disclose to police that she owned a .22 caliber handgun, but both Steve and Knickerbocker informed authorities that she did. Investigators later discovered that she had bought the handgun in Arizona during her marriage to Steve. While they were unable to find the weapon, they found unfired cartridges in her home with extractor markings from the murder weapon. Most damaging witnesses saw her car being driven very slowly toward the hospital at an estimated speed of 5 to 7 miles per hour, contradicting her claim that she drove to the hospital at a high speed after the shooting. Based on this and additional evidence, Downs was arrested 9 months after the shooting on February 28, 1984, and charged with 1 count of murder and 2 counts each of attempted murder and criminal assault. Ugh. She's not very good looking.
And she's with child. Whose child was that?
A reporter. A reporter had sex with her, and she got pregnant. And she was like 8 months pregnant, I think, when she was sentenced.
I wouldn't even take her out to dinner. I'd get an Egg McMuffin from Cumberland Farms. That's it.
What happened to Burger King and McDonald's?
That's too high. That's too high class for her.
Somebody in the chat room, Tom Cornell, said, "Seen better heads than a mug of beer." Ain't that the truth?
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Prosecutors argued that Downs shot her children to be free of them so that she could continue her affair with Knickerbocker, as she claimed that he let it be known that he did not want children in his life. There was testimony by the prosecution psychiatrist who diagnosed Downs as narcissistic, histrionic, and antisocial. These qualities meant that Downs also fit into the profile of malignant hysteria psychopathy. Stated in this testimony was that she shows no remorse. She regards her children with no empathy and as objects or possessions. Any feelings she has for them are superficial and only extended to how they are part of her and her life. Much of the case against her rested on the testimony of her surviving daughter, Christy, who, once she recovered her ability to speak, described how her mother shot all 3 children while parked at the side of the road, then shot herself in the arm. Downs was convicted on all charges on June 17, 1984, and sentenced to life in prison plus 50 years. She was required to serve 25 years before being considered for parole. Most of Downs' sentence is to be served consecutively. The judge made it clear that he did not intend for Downs to ever be free again. So she was up for parole in 2010, 2020, and she's up for parole again in April of this year, this month.
They're not going to parole her because she will not admit that she killed her kids.
Yeah, until you own your crime and you express remorse. I mean, the whole idea of being in prison is you need to be rehabilitated. Well, she hasn't even admitted her guilt, so she's just burying herself. I mean, the longer you keep saying that, she'll die in prison.
Yeah, she's still denying it. But so I was doing some research, and there was a new law that has been passed by the Supreme Court where if there's where the jurors are divided, so it's like a 10-2 type situation, that it's considered a mistrial. And so under that, she can actually appeal and put in to have a new trial, or that she should be let out because of this new law.
Good law.
Yeah. So hopefully that doesn't happen, but
what I don't understand,
you never know.
What I don't understand is, how did she go from Arizona to Oregon? What was in Oregon? That they never explained. Was there a job for her in Oregon, or? She seemed to have a nice house when they went to her, when they showed her house there.
Well, I mean, it was too in the early 80s. You're not meeting anybody online yet, so.
Right.
I forget what the reason was. I think there was a reason.
I think the husband was, but I don't remember how she met the husband.
Yeah.
I still don't know how she ended up in Oregon from Arizona, why she went to Oregon.
Well,
I don't know. There's a reason, but
I think every reason that Diane had for going anywhere was all because of a man. That's what it seemed like.
100%. Absolutely. It was all.
So I'm sure that's the answer.
Yeah. Downs' sentence meant she could not be considered for parole until 2009. Under Oregon law at the time, as a dangerous offender, Downs would have been eligible for a parole hearing every 2 years until she is released or dies in prison. In her first application for parole in 2008, Downs reaffirmed her innocence. She insisted that over the years, I have told you and the rest of the world that a man shot me and my children. I have never changed my story. Her first parole hearing was on December 9th, 2008. Lane County District Attorney Douglas Harlerode wrote to the parole board, Downs continues to fail to demonstrate any honest insight into her criminal behavior, even after her convictions. She continues to fabricate new versions of events under which the crimes occurred. He also wrote that she alternatively refers to her assailants as a bushy-haired stranger, 2 men wearing ski masks, or drug dealers and corrupt law enforcement officials. Downs participated in the hearing from the Valley State Prison for Women. She was not permitted to make a statement, but answered questions from the parole board. After 3 hours of interviews and 30 minutes of deliberation, she was denied parole. Downs had parole hearings in 2010 and 2020, which were both denied. Downs maintained her innocence in all parole hearings.
You would think by now that like it would sink into this woman's head that, hey, you know what? Maybe if I just admit that I did it, I'm really sorry. At least then you have a chance. You have no chance denying it.
This lady's an idiot. The crime she committed was stupid. I mean, obviously shooting your kids is stupid, but like the way she went about that is like stupid too. Like,
well, you have your own child on the witness stand. You know, the child testified that she did it. How do you overcome that?
Right.
Yeah.
It was not well thought out, not well planned whatsoever.
No, she's not bright.
I don't see no Ron Esposito in the chat room tonight, but we do have a newcomer, Chrissy Wolf. And to give a shout out to Chrissy Wolf, one of the newcomers in the chat room.
Yeah, it says she had a new trial in 2024. She was trying to. I mean, why?
No,
there's no need for a trial. And it happened 40-something years ago. I mean, there's absolutely no data as to this woman's guilt.
But under that new law, she may get a new trial. That's the scary part.
They got to keep her in jail. Then they cannot. I wouldn't trust that lady being on the loose even now, even because she's pushing 70. I still wouldn't trust her.
No, I wouldn't either.
No,
she'll do whatever she has to do to get what she wants. It's clear. I mean, look what she did.
That's a good thing.
Yeah,
it doesn't seem like she got any help while she was in there. Like it doesn't seem like obviously she has a mental illness. Like that's clear, and like it just doesn't seem like they tried to like do anything about that. Which I feel like they say the whole point is to like help the people. That's why they're in jail. Which obviously we know that's not really true. But
it's supposed to be rehabilitation. But I think there's some people. I don't think this lady is capable. It's like Jared Fogle last week. There's no way.
Yeah.
That guy walked over a line that once you walk over that line, you can't go back. And I think same thing, you killed your kids.
Yeah.
How can you walk back from that?
Yeah, I don't think you can.
My opinion, I think the bitch is crazy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I would say so.
Like, all these psychiatrists with all their fancy terms, why don't they just say she's a fucking nut job? This way we can
That bitch is crazy. I mean, who has 2 kids with a guy and then goes and has another kid with a stranger and brings the kid home?
Well, she had a third kid with the first guy, but that she, aborted And then she felt guilty, and then she goes, "Oh well, I'm going to have another kid, and well, you're shooting blanks now, so I'm going to get my other friend to knock me up."
And then gets pregnant by a reporter or whoever it was when she's on trial for murder.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, but I don't know. I'm a guy. I mean, we're actually, her and I are born in the same year, and I tried really hard to see anything that I found attractive about her. I couldn't do it, and I don't know how anybody could.
No,
maybe there were a lot of paper bags utilized.
Bottle of vodka.
Vodka, paper bags.
Bottle of vodka, and the clock turns 2 a.m.
Mushrooms on it. I don't know. Yeah.
Ecstasy, mushrooms, lots of drugs.
Yeah, something.
Downs was initially incarcerated at the Oregon Women's Correctional Center in Salem. On July 11th, 1987, she escaped from her cell by scaling an 18-foot razor wire fence. For 10 days, Downs managed to evade law enforcement, despite a 14-state manhunt before she was recaptured. She received an additional 5-year sentence for the escape. After her recapture, Downs was transferred to the New Jersey Department of Corrections Clinton Correctional Facility for Women after heavy lobbying from lead prosecutor on the case, Fred Hughey. The Salem prison was located 66 miles from Hughey's home in Springfield. During her 10 days of freedom, Hughey had feared that Downs would attempt to travel there in hopes of contacting Christy and Danny. Despite significant security upgrades at the women's facility after the escape, state officials accepted Hughey's argument that the risk of harm to Christy and Danny in the event of another escape was too great for Downs to remain incarcerated in Oregon. That was smart.
So now she's an agile psycho slut. Dave, she gets better and better. Scaled an 18-foot fence, a razor wire fence.
Thank God she's not knocking on my slider at 3 a.m. Thank God.
I don't know. You better watch out. She might travel from where she is now. I think she's in Jersey. Oh no, she was. And she moved to. I think she's in California now.
I gotta worry about my ex Maria. She's in town. I gotta worry about her knocking on my slider.
She's watching, Dad. Say hi to her.
Hi, Maria. How are you? Maria Petroselli.
I just want to make it clear she's watching for me and not you.
Is she related to Rico, Dave?
No, unfortunately, no.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah. Great third baseman.
Oh, the best. I'm not, obviously a Yankee fan. I love Rico.
Yep.
Rico and Tony Conigliaro.
Downs' 2 surviving children eventually went to live with the lead prosecutor on the case, Fred Hughey. He and his wife, Joanne, adopted them in 1986. Christy Downs' first child, who testified at her trial, suffers from a speech disability. She has a son and a daughter whom she named Cheryl in memory of her late sister.
Now, that's a stand-up guy. I got to really applaud that.
Yeah.
But why didn't the dad get custody? That's what I'm wondering.
It didn't really seem like he wanted kids either.
Steve?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. I just thought that was
like he really cared that much about them.
Well, I mean, obviously not, because he let someone else adopt them. But
probably woke up from his drunken stupor and looked at her and said, what the hell did I do?
If you're getting a divorce, you would think like my kids, like there's no way I'm allowing my spouse to move out of state. There's no way. No, those are my kids. I have visitation, whatever, 3 days a week, every other weekend, whatever it is. I'm not giving that up. You can't move. He just I think you're right. I don't think not as bad as her, obviously, but I don't think he had much interest in these kids.
Right.
Yeah, probably went and started a petting zoo. Get away from her.
Petting zoo?
Yeah, anything looks better than her. Hey, look at this pig and the sheep. They look better than my ex-wife.
Prior to her arrest, Downs became pregnant with a 5th child and gave birth to a girl whom she named Amy Elizabeth a month after her 1984 trial. 10 days before Downs' sentencing, Amy was seized by the state of Oregon and adopted by Chris and Jackie Babcock, who subsequently named her Rebecca Babcock. As an adult, Rebecca appeared on the Oprah Winfrey Show and ABC's 2020, where she discussed how she felt about her biological mother. Rebecca wrote to Downs in her younger years and has stated that she regrets the contact regarding her mother as a monster.
Got that right.
Mm-hmm.
God bless that. God bless that prosecutor, though. I mean,
I know.
I had a father who, as soon as I was born, never bothered with me my whole life. This guy adopts 2 kids that's not even his. God bless him.
Let me, ooh, God.
Jump scare. Her and Jared Fogle might be a good match.
Damn.
I know.
When I saw that picture, I had a flashback to Home Alone. You know, when Kevin's going through after they abandon him and he's going through his brother's chest, and he sees the picture and he goes, "Buzz, your girlfriend." Woof. Yeah.
I was thinking that earlier too.
Yeah, she has not aged well.
My grandson Cash, he's a German Shepherd, looks a lot better than her, and I honestly mean that.
Cash is way more attractive. Cash is a better catch, you know.
Yeah. That's my boy.
But, I got to start with the bad girl here due to her history with Charles Manson.
Oh boy!
Does Diane Downs give Charlie a run for his money on the evil meter?
Yes. Yes. In a different way, but totally equal. Yes.
I mean, Manson did have some emotions, I think. I mean, I think he was not all there, but I mean, this lady just seems to be. I don't think I've ever seen anybody who was totally devoid of the only, like you said, Brittany. The only thing she really cared about was whatever she wanted next. The kids were, and she even used the kids when it was to her advantage. But when they became a hindrance, like when she met this Knickerbocker guy. But then, like, why don't you say to your parents, "Hey, mom and dad, I want to be with this man, and he doesn't want kids. So what am I don't want to put him up for adoption. Would you take them?" I mean, wouldn't you try that first? But that's logical thinking.
Right. And I think that's the key.
Her parents, I don't know. Were they like good parents though? It seemed like she didn't have like a great life at home. So I don't know if maybe that's why she didn't. But I mean, I don't see why she would even think about that anyways, because she didn't seem to care about their well-being at all.
Yeah.
So
no.
I know one thing her parents didn't do. They didn't bring her to go get Botox because that girl's ugly.
Oh my God. Dan from Dan and Benny, my partner Dan, said, "Did you know," and he's talking about the girl and the Buzz's girlfriend in Home Alone. "Did you know that was actually a boy in a wig because the director didn't want to use any real girls for that joke?" That makes sense.
I didn't know that.
I did not know that. That's a great little tidbit there.
That's funny.
Yeah, that's a good trivia question.
But what do you guys think, Tiffany, Dave? Is there have you encountered any of the people we've covered? I mean, we've covered a lot of pieces of shit. Is there anybody more like cold and evil than this woman?
I mean, I think it's kind of similar to like Casey Anthony, I would say, in a certain way. I mean, she still denies that she did anything. I guess it's just like a little different because of the way it happened. I don't know, but
I mean, how do you shoot your kids? And the girl was actually outside the car on the ground when she went over the driver's side and shot her, I believe, right in the back. And I mean, how can you do that to your kids? You just
and you planned it because you specifically found a deserted road where you thought you could get away with it, where there's not going to be any traffic, and
they should just put her
a night out too. Like she was like hanging out at a friend's house or wherever she was before, like nonchalant, like nothing was going to happen. Like that's sick.
And you know what's fucked up is, and you see this more and more and more, all these sick people, all these animals, they're not even human. It's either you're on the side of Jesus or you're on the side of evil. It's one or the other. And all these people that do all this heinous crimes, why are all these people getting new trials? They're all getting new trials, or their sentences are getting reduced, or they're getting let out of prison. Like, what the fuck is going on here? Are we the crazy ones, or are they the fucking crazy ones?
Well, I mean, and you know, to me, like, pay more attention to the victims than you do the, you know, right? Like with Scott Peterson, right. I don't know. I haven't heard much more about that lately, but I had heard that he might get a new trial. You know, do you really want to drag Lacey's family through that again? I mean, how fair is that? I mean, who in their right mind that has an IQ higher than a turnip does not think that Scott Peterson did that?
Yeah,
I know.
Right.
Yes, that it was him.
Right. These juries, I'll tell you, this Karen Reed retrial of the century, they're calling it. My boy Vinnie Politan on True Crime. I love that guy. But my boy Vinnie Politan, this retrial is not a shoo-in for her. Like, this isn't going to be easy the second time around. They're doing things a little different the second time around. They got to, you know, so just keep an eye on that, because they got a new expert coming in from the state to testify in that one. So just keep an eye on that trial.
They whatchamacallit, they have a new prosecutor too, right?
They do, Brennan, new prosecutor Brennan, and he's
that first guy was way too laid back.
Right.
Now, he's going to have the same guy defending her.
She has the same team plus. She has one of the jurors. She has one of the jurors that was on her first trial is now one of her lawyers.
Wow.
Yeah. So an alternate juror is now one of her lawyers. She's got like five lawyers, I think she's got now.
There was like some talk about, and I don't know if this is still a thing or if we've moved past this yet, but they were talking about like those expert witnesses who Alan Jackson had paid, and there was like discrepancy with that, like about him getting hit with the car. Like they were supposed to be like for the federal government witnesses. And that was like a whole thing with them. And then somebody was saying that Alan Jackson doesn't have a license to practice in Massachusetts. He has like special privileges to be able to be her lawyer here. So I guess like if it was like an extreme case, like the judge could be like, you're done, like you're no longer allowed to be on this case. Wow. But I don't know if we've moved past that yet or not. I just saw.
Yeah, they moved past it. She can keep her attorneys. But I want to make a point. Dan makes a good point here in the chat room. You know, like the Menendez brothers. What the fuck are they going to let these guys out of prison for? I don't care what the parents did, the father did. I get it. They were adults. They could have left the house, go away. They weren't 7, 8, 9, or 10, but they decided to go get shotguns and blast their parents away while they're in the living room.
Yeah, and then they they summarily went and spent like $1 gazillion of the money. They bought everything under the sun right after that.
Yeah,
but they want to get let out. And just to let everyone know, tonight at 9:00 on Fox, they have a brand new special. TMZ is doing a special on the Menendez brothers tonight at 9. But Dan brings a very good point up. Like, they want to get out of jail.
Well, I think like who doesn't, right? Who doesn't? But on cases like this case that we're talking about, on Karen Reed, or well, let's forget Karen Reed. Let's just say like blatant, disgusting murderers like Diane Downs, the Menendez brothers, people that have slaughtered people and they planned it. Okay. Why is the taxpayers' money getting used for possibly another trial for these people? It's sickening to me.
It is. It makes no sense.
It's the senators in that state. It's the mayors, the people that change the laws. Don't
be saying anything about the mayor.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The senators and you
Okay,
represent
that's
the
better.
the people in power are the ones that change these laws to fit the picture for the bad people, but the victims are treated like the bad people.
Right.
You know, it's like it's our elected officials, and then you get the liberal judges who are all fucked up. Half of them are all fucked up today. I mean, they should be in jail themselves.
I mean, I get the fact that you want to give the criminal, the defendant, every last benefit of the doubt, but when you've been through a trial, and I mean, like a Scott Peterson, there were no errors in that trial. Come on. I mean, that was a very thorough trial. You're convicted by a jury of your peers. You know, the Menendez brothers, same thing. That should be it. I mean, you know, they should maybe have like maybe one appeal, but once they decide, no, you know what, we reviewed the case like a district court. We found no errors. That should be it. I mean, like Brittany said, I mean, how much taxpayer money? Number one, how much taxpayer money is being wasted, and number two, how many of the victims' families have to relive this shit all over again?
Can you imagine that poor girl and the son who's paralyzed? They have to see that on the news. I mean, they're grown-ups now, right?
Yeah.
They're grown-ups. They might have families of their own. It's possible. You know.
Are you talking about Diane Downs' kids? They're like in their 40s and 50s. Yeah.
So, like, should they have to go through this? You know, seeing her possibly get another trial after what they went through, after what happened to them, and then the parents that adopted them. Like, think about them too. You know, like what Dave said earlier. God bless that man and his wife. Seriously.
Oh yeah.
For taking
stand-up guys,
emotionally abused children. One both saw the whole thing. I know the daughter did, but I don't know whether the son was sleeping when it happened or what. But he knows what happened. They're grown-ups now. They know what their mother did to them. Imagine having to live through, oh, she's getting another trial. Great.
Yeah, now we got I mean, the girl who testified, she's probably pushing 50 now.
Yeah.
Or close.
Well, yeah, and she's going to have to testify again. I mean, if she doesn't want her mother out.
That's what they don't get, though. Like, you know, this girl, and then now she's might even be a grandmother by now. Like, she's been through enough. Like, why do you have to put this person through it again?
I know.
When you know the outcome, I mean, there's no doubt about the outcome.
No, these people should be put through an incinerator. Right on a gurney, tied up. I'll press the button nice and slow as they inch towards the fire. That's what should, because they're taking up food and air that could belong to someone that's decent.
And taxpayer dollars.
I just feel like
absolutely
when it comes to stuff like this, there should be like a grandfathered in type situation where, like, if a law is made after you've already received your sentence,
right,
too bad, so sad, you're already in jail, and that was what the outcome was. Like,
you were convicted under the existing laws. You know, if the law changes, too bad.
Yeah, that's what I think.
RJ Hudson saying Charles Manson would be an interesting topic. Well, we did cover him, RJ. He was one of our first episodes.
How does that guy live there? I know he's dead now, but how the hell did he live all these years? That's another guy that should have been put through an incinerator. I'm sorry, Brittany. I know that. I know that. That's one of your guys there, Brittany. But what a crazy motherfucker! Yeah.
Grandpa, exactly. Yeah, she wouldn't have gotten those letters then.
Yeah.
Come on now. I wouldn't have been grounded. Oh, I probably would have for something else, but I wouldn't have been grounded for that.
Its place, right?
Something I'm sure not quite as serious.
You would have substituted another devious act for that one.
Yeah, I mean, there was me climbing up to the top of the crabapple tree with a bag of water balloons. And yes, it was the principal's car that I got. So I did do some time for that. 2 weeks in the house for that. But how do you compare that to Charles Manson?
It's really an honor being on this show with 3 different heels. I mean, I'm learning a lot.
And didn't you write pigs on the front door of your house?
No, I put it on a white plate that had some extra ketchup on it. And when my mother asked my sister, myself, and my sister's boyfriend for, can I have your plates? I'm going to wash them now. They nicely, with a nice pearly white smile, handed them the plate. And I did the big Charles Manson eye thing and whipped around with the white plate that said pig on it. So she jumped, ran, called my father and said, come get her. She's going to hang me from the beams.
Now, how old were you then? Brittany, how old were you at that time?
I would say 14.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was one of the first stories I heard about Brittany. While we were eating our Mexican
Yep.
at El Mariachi.
Yep.
Yeah.
El Mariachi. We had to go on the true crime luncheon.
Yep.
We did. We got to do another one of those true crime luncheons out there.
Yeah,
That was
they had-
great.
Absolutely. And
That was
we're
good
gonna have to
food.
bring
Maybe you guys will come down
Benny on
here and we can do it.
FaceTime.
That would be even better.
Yeah, we shall go visit
Yeah.
Benny.
Come
He's
down
got
to
some
Florida.
nice weather. Yeah. I'd
I
rather
Yeah.
know.
It's 82
Yeah, we should
degrees.
go.
Grandma Sally's for everyone.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They love that.
Let's go rent a van, roll about 10 doobies, and go down to Benny's.
One of the
That
servers
doesn't
today
sound
said she
like fun
wanted
to me.
she wanted to braid my hair.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, I want mine braided. So if
Yeah,
Maybe
most of
she'll
the
do
men
it-
that come into that place don't have much hair. I'm kind of an exception to the rule.
Yeah, you must be a rock star when you walk in there in the morning.
Well, most guys my age, like down here, they take their nose hair and they comb it back. They don't really have
Jesus.
much hair on their head.
All the waitresses must look out the window. Here he comes. Here comes Benny. Here he comes.
Do
Hey
they at
man,
least have
all I
good
know
food?
is, I do. They do treat me. They kill me with kindness there. I get there, I sit in the same seat every single day. I'm waiting for a little star with my name across it on the seat. They haven't done that yet, but my coffee is always poured. Within like 5 seconds, one of them is there. Like, what are you going to have today, Benny? And it's a great place. So, yeah, if you guys come down here, we definitely have to hit Grandma Sally's.
well, do
There's
they
no,
know that
link-
you're a disc jockey now?
What's that?
Do they know that you're a DJ now?
No, they don't. I mean, a couple of them know that I do the podcast, but yeah, I gotta spread the word because I think I'm gonna
Spread
put
the
them over
word.
on Sunday's show. I'm gonna put them over.
You will get that gold star. You watch.
Mhm.
There's
Yeah,
no waitress named Diane there, is there?
No, there's no Diane. No Diane. No, there's an
Okay.
April. There's a Sandra. There's a Terry, a Nikki, a Bobby. No Diane. No Diane.
Oh,
Okay.
But I
Sandra,
am
that was a good
campaigning. They have a
game.
meatball omelet that I'm trying to have them rename the Playa. I'm working on that.
Ooh,
That would be nice.
Yeah.
there you
Yeah.
go.
Is that what you always
Hey,
get?
did you
In
catch
fact,
that, Dave? There's a Sandra.
I heard that. Yes.
Yeah.
Let's not talk.
Sandra's actually she's my
Sandra?
favorite.
Let's not talk about that, Brittany, please.
Dad, who is
Okay.
Sandra?
How about we'll talk about the meatball omelet instead then? Because I think Dave would like
The
that
meatball
too.
omelet's pretty
No,
damn
wait
good.
a second. Wait, who is Sandra? I want to know. You can't just pretend that didn't happen. Who's Sandra, Dad?
No habla. No habla. No habla.
Like,
Is she another
Shinsuke
psychopath?
Nakamura, no speaker to English.
I speak no English.
Right. No
I'll find
habla.
out.
No habla.
Tiffany, we got it past you during lunch and you didn't ask questions.
You guys talked about this at lunch? I must have been
We did.
delusional from the chips and salsa.
Yeah, Dan said the Playa
again-
omelet is half off if you can answer a baseball trivia question, but it's got to be a question of my choice that Only I can answer. But yeah, no, their food is really fabulous. I'm going to speak to the owner this week and say, look, if you name that omelet the Playa, the meatball omelet, then I will do a commercial for you free of charge on Sunday.
There you go.
Fair deal, right? Not going to cost them anything.
That sounds like a quick pro quo to me.
Yeah. Hey man, whatever works.
That's it. That's it.
You know, the sad part is because now I am on day, I think, 129 of my diet, and I have not had a meatball omelet there in like a good 4 or 5 months. It is really good. Only on Thursdays. Thursday is meatball omelet day, but yeah, it's very hard to not do that.
Yeah.
Oh, your birthday doesn't happen to be on a Thursday, does it, Benny?
You know what? Hang on. Let's get out.
Dad,
Because
Tori wants to know if
It
Sandra
might
is an
be the way
imaginary
to
girlfriend.
celebrate.
No, my birthday is on a Tuesday this year, June 24th.
Shoot.
No, Sandy's star is real.
I don't know. She wants to know if it's another Holly. Yeah.
I mean, she was kind of dirty.
We need to do a show just on Dave and his exes.
They're
We
fake.
talked about
They're not
we
even
talked about
real.
we talked about this at El Mariachi. I don't know why you don't remember.
Holly is not real. She's not a real person. And I'm wondering if Sandra is now.
Oh, Sandra is.
Oh, wait. Were you guys talking about it when we walked out?
Yes.
Oh, she's the groupie.
Yes.
What are they called? Ring rats?
Yes.
That's
Yes.
okay. I remember this. Okay. I remember now.
Yeah,
You're
nothing
gross.
like a
The
ring. Nothing.
nastiest one you could ever imagine.
Dave
Hey.
still got
The
rats.
invisible
Wow.
girlfriends of Dave.
Her gums weren't bleeding. That's all I cared about.
What the fuck?
You know.
What? There,
Where's
Yeah,
Foxhole
no-
Willie? I'd rather Foxhole Willie be back than to have this.
She had no open sores and her gums weren't bleeding. So
we're gonna
That-
have to. I think
Benny,
Tiffany,
help
we're gonna have to
us.
call the FBI and try to track down Foxhole Willie because I'm getting kind of nervous now.
Yeah. I think he
I don't
wants
see
to-
Ron
The
Esposito.
videotape.
Where's Ron Esposito?
He's taking an exam for his job or something, Tori said.
Well, that's what he says. He's probably harboring Foxhole Willie.
Oh, yes. They're in cahoots.
Maybe I'm thinking
Right?
of Ernie Ladd. Ernie Ladd said that Ivan Putski stayed up all night studying for a blood test. So hopefully Ron Esposito is a little bit better than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to love how Ernie Ladd said Bruno Sammartino. Bruno Sammartino.
And Spurious Arius instead of Spurious Arion.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I guess in the transportation, and so I got the class who's Mike DiGregorio said they're lot lizards. So they're rats, they're
Yep.
lizards, they're groupies. I like
Yep.
the groupie term. I like that one the best.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ring rats in wrestling and lot lizards for truckers.
Mhm.
Okay.
Oh,
But they're pretty much,
And
they look
groupies
the
for rock
same.
and roll.
yeah. Yeah. But the groupies for rock and roll, I think they are a step above wrestling groupies, who
Yeah,
I believe are a step above.
So how
lot
would you
lizards.
rank them? Like you have the groupies, you have the ring rats, and you have the lot lizards. Like 1, 2, 3. How would you rate them?
I think you just did it perfectly. The
Yeah.
groupies are 1.
Groupies number 1.
The
Yeah.
ring rat's a 2, except for Sandy. She's at minus 800. And 3 would be the lot lizards because they have like missing teeth and greasy hair and the
Yeah.
lot lizards. They're
Crabs,
gross.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because I mean the groupies are chasing rock stars, so rock stars typically are going to be like pretty well off, right? They're going to have money.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
the ring rats, if they, the wrestler may have some money, possibly, or not,
Right.
right? Yeah, and then
Right.
the truckers are living week to week.
the ring
Yeah,
rats they have stains on their shirts though. They're not very sanitary.
What kind of
Well,
what kind
Dad,
of
you're the
stain,
one
Dave?
that likes the ring rats. They go with you. Everything you eat, you stain your shirt. So.
What do they have on their shirts? What kind of stain?
I don't know. When this girl came up to me we were wrestling outside, and she said, "Hey, I had my gear on, ready to go in the ring for one of Walter Kowalski's shows, and we drove with Walter in a Suburban, and she goes, 'Hey, you want to go?' Well, I can't say this. Hey, she says, 'Hey, do you want a BJ?' And I says, 'Well, I'm getting ready to go on. I'm getting ready to go on to wrestle.' She goes, I said, 'Okay, let's go in Walter's van over here.' And well, you know the rest. But she had like I don't know, Kool-Aid stains and everything all over her shirt. She wasn't very sanitary.
You makes you wonder how you got a Kool-Aid stain on your shirt. That's kind of hard. So
yeah, like I said,
you did that in Killer Kowalski's vehicle?
I did in his Suburban. Yes, I did. But just as we got done, I had to go in the ring. But
That's
she
gross.
wasn't. Her hygiene wasn't the best.
Do that before you wrestle. Aren't you supposed to save that for like after your match?
Yep.
When a ring rat comes up to you, the ring rat comes up to you. You know, that's the way it is.
Sounds like desperation to me.
I was kind of rubber-legged in the ring, but oh well.
RJ Hudson says it sounds like an ad for Tide, all these stains.
Lots of
I fought Cowboy Chris Duffy that night.
Did you win or did you lose?
I can't remember because I was doing a lot.
Because you did bad things before.
Yeah,
I think we went
past the 30-second mark, right? Like you had no cardio left. It was all blown out.
I think it was a double DQ that night.
In more ways than one.
You had a single BJ and a double DQ. What a night!
You had to bring this up, didn't you, Brittany? You just had to bring this up.
Man, when I talk to you guys, I really realize what a dull life I lived as an accountant and a finance guy. I missed my true calling.
Yeah, I think you did.
Yeah.
Tori says, Chris Duffy's sister, Missy, you and her used to date and she had a mustache and beard.
Chris Duffy had no sisters.
Dad, is that another one of your fabrications?
No, that's the Irish leprechaun I think you're thinking of.
The Irish leprechaun
did have a sister with that name.
Yeah, the Irish leprechaun.
So you dated the Irish leprechaun's sister.
I didn't date her. We did things. I don't date women with mustaches. We just did things together. That's all. I didn't date.
Yeah, when the woman's got more facial hair than you, that's like definitely a red flag.
Tori said, yeah, that's him. Phil said a double nut bust.
Well.
Wait,
thanks, Phil. Thanks, Phil.
If Kowalski had found out about it, would you have been in trouble with him?
Oh, he probably would have fired me. But he was the referee. The reason he was in the ring refereeing the match. I believe it was a midget match. Before I was going in, he was in the ring. That's why I said, "Well, let's go in." We all drove with him. We didn't have our cars, so that's why I said, "Well, let's go in the back of Kowalski's Suburban." That's why we went in there.
Were you dating my mom when this happened?
I came out of Suburban, pulled my trunks up, and went in the ring to wrestle.
And she had more stains besides Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
She had Dave Aid at that point.
I told her I was going to give her
where Walter was complaining that he didn't know why the ring was wet when he went 1, 2, 3 because it wasn't raining. So now we know why the ring was wet.
Double Slurpee.
Oh.
Dang.
I don't know. I could go my whole life without hearing that.
I know.
So I got to tell this story really quick. I don't think I've ever told this story on the air. When I moved down to Florida, I was 39, and I had been working out 12 twice a day, not 12, twice a day at Gold's Gym, but I did weights in the morning, cardio. I probably had 4% body fat. I was like 205 pounds. I was in the best shape of my life, and I had just moved there to Florida, and some guy drove up in a car. and I was playing hockey, street hockey outside with my two sons. And he rolls down to where I'm thinking, shit, this guy's going to ask me for directions. And, I don't know where I can barely find my way around myself. And the guy, I swear to God, the guy said, do you like wrestling? And I said, is the Pope Catholic? And this was in 2001. So, yeah. No, I'm sorry. It was 1995. I was 39 going on 40. And I said, why do you ask? He said, I'm a local indie promoter and you have a really good look. And I said, yeah, I mean, I said, I've been watching wrestling for 30 years. I said, but I'm almost 40. He goes, yeah, but you're in better shape than any of my guys. And he gave me his card. I run into the house. I was actually staying with my mom. My mom and my ex-wife were both in the house. I said, Mom, and I showed him. And my mom said, if you do that, I'll disown you. And my then wife said, if you do that, I'll divorce you. And I didn't want my mom to disown me, so I didn't do it.
Wow. Wow.
But to this day, though, I wish I had done that.
Yeah.
Well, do you have the card still? Who's the promoter?
I don't know who it was. I mean, it was local here in the Tampa Bay area. I mean, obviously it happened in 1995. It's 30 years later, and I'm still thinking about it. I really, I'm trying to make up for things now that I didn't do that I still have time to do. But I mean, I can't walk that one back. I mean, not at my age. Although I'm in pretty damn good shape, but I think it's a little bit too late for that one.
Well, I hope he was a promoter and wasn't going to bring you to an abandoned warehouse.
Yeah, right.
That's actually where I thought this story was going.
Then I'd have my own rat stories. I feel so inadequate, right? I don't have any rat stories.
Don't worry, Benny. I don't either.
And then
now, what do you call? What will you call like a podcast groupie? Is there a name for that?
Foxhole Willie.
There you go.
And then I gave up the ring rats for their mother because she was so beautiful. She swept me away, and there was no more ring rats after that.
My one and only goal in podcasting is to have a woman ask me to autograph her boobies with a Sharpie, and once I do that, I'm good. That's my
dream too, Benny.
Yeah,
that's my dream too.
Yeah, I'm living for that. I have the Sharpies already.
I hope Bree isn't around hearing this. Where is she?
No, Bree's laying on the sectional. She can't. She's with. Well, hang on for a minute. Hang on.
Yes.
Every once in a while, because I'm in my room, I'll open the door after a podcast, and there she's just sitting there very quietly. No, she's on the sectional. She's soaking in the AC. Kind of hot here.
Oh.
Yeah.
Bree's got her big vet checkup. I'm dreading her vet visit on Saturday because I know the vet's going to yell at me because she's got a couple extra pounds on her.
Well, gotta live too.
Yeah. I mean, I spoil the crap out of her, but I can't help it.
See, now, Benny, if you look in the mirror and you say, look how well I'm taking care of myself, why am I not doing that for Bree?
Yeah. I mean, here I am. Well, because I'm not going to bite myself if I don't eat something, but Bree will bite me if I don't give her what she wants.
I mean, you could bite yourself. So
I could bite myself. Yeah, I could. Or I can ask one of the servers at Grandma Sally's, meet me after work. You can bite me.
Yeah. And I actually did get in trouble with Walter because something did happen up at the gym. Brittany knows this one, but we won't talk about this one. We won't talk about this one, but I got a scolding from the killer for what happened up there in the locker room.
Yeah. That is true. That is all I knew about Dangerous Dave Starr.
That he was a whore?
Story. Never met him. That's all I knew. It was that story.
Dad, come on. You're giving us a bad name.
I had my long black hair back then, and I was buffed up, and and all these women. I don't know. None of them had any money though, but I don't know.
They never have money. But all right, guys, I'm going to put a wrap in this. So I want to thank the usual suspects in the chat room, as well as the millions and millions of true crime fans around the world. As I say every time, the supply of pieces of shit is endless. So make sure you subscribe to the Monty and the Pharaoh YouTube channel so you won't miss any episodes. Please do not forget, and he's already gone, but to join yours truly and Dan Sebastiano tomorrow night, 7 o'clock for Dan and Benny in the Ring, as well as on Wednesday night at 7 when I will be co-hosting the great new show When It Was Real, starring author and WWWF historian Nikita Brezhnikov. And this week we will cover the career of the one and only classy Freddie Blassie. I'm really, really looking forward to that. So, and do not forget to check out The Bad Girl every Saturday from 1 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Funland Radio. That is a really, really good time. That is a part of my routine now. She's spinning the oldies as only she can. So, for The Bad Girl, Tiffany, and Dangerous Dave, this is the one and only Playa telling you to stay safe and see you next crime.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Stay safe.